Right now, the PGA Tour is at a turning point, and the man at the center of it isn't a boss, an executive, or a sponsor. It's the world number one, the one player the tour simply cannot work without. Scottie Scheffler has been patient. He showed up to events others skipped. He won even when the format was unfair. He stayed quiet when others would have exploded. But something has changed recently, and if you've been watching closely, what he's been saying and what the tour has been quietly planning will tell you exactly why this moment is different. There are 5 specific changes Scheffler wants, and the way things are going. If the tour keeps ignoring them, the most important player in the sport may start making choices the tour cannot afford. We're going through all 5, but the last one should truly worry tour leadership. I think the tour is much closer to losing Scheffler's trust than they want to admit. Agree or not? Tell me in the comments. And if you want this kind of conversation every day, subscribe. But before the 5 demands, you need to understand why Scheffler's frustration matters more than anyone else's on tour right now, because without that, the rest of this won't hit the way it should. 192 weeks at world number 1, 4 majors, 20 wins since February 2022. But here's the number that actually matters. While McIlroy, Schauffele, Aberg, and Fitzpatrick were skipping big events this season, Scheffler kept showing up to everything. Even smaller events that the tour's biggest names had been quietly avoiding for years. He was the one player tour leadership could point to and say, "Look, our system works. Our best player still believes in it." That's not just loyalty, that's power, real power. And the tour has been using it up without realizing there's a limit. They already learned this lesson once. Scheffler said publicly he didn't like the Tour Championship starting strokes format, that giving the top player a head start wasn't the right way to decide the best player of the year. He said it clearly. The tour dropped the format completely. He spoke, they changed it. So why are the things he's still asking for being ignored? Because what comes next is where it gets really uncomfortable. The first change Scheffler wants is simple. Apply the rules the same way every time. At the 2025 PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, more than 3.5 inches of rain had fallen on the course before the tournament started. The fairways were wet and soft. The PGA of America said no to preferred lies. Scheffler hits a clean drive on 16. The ball picks up mud. The shot goes into the water. Double bogey. His own words after. Angry about hitting the fairway, getting mud on the ball, and having no idea where it would go. Schauffele called it kind of stupid. These aren't 2 players upset about a hard week. These are the world's best players telling you that a major championship partly became a game of luck. Then in 2026, the same tour started using preferred lies at regular events. Valero, Zurich Classic, Cadillac Championship, Byron Nelson, and fans were upset every time. 2 opposite decisions, 12 months apart, with no clear reason for either. That's not a rule. That's an organization making things up as it goes. What Scheffler wants is not hard. Use logic to apply the rules, not whatever feels right that week. That's frustrating enough. But what's being planned for 2028 is on a completely different level. And this is where the title starts to mean something real. The second change Scheffler wants is a real say in how the new tour structure affects him personally. Rolapp's 2-tier plan puts big events in Track 1 and smaller events in Track 2. That sounds fine on paper, but there's one detail hidden inside that plan that changes everything. Top players in Track 1 will reportedly not be allowed to play Track 2 events. And the Byron Nelson, where Scheffler played his very first tour event at 17 years old with his sister carrying his bag, where he holds the tournament record in his home city of Dallas, the event he came back to every single year while others didn't, gets put in Track 2. He would be told he can't play there anymore. His response this week was careful. He said he has strong feelings for the tournament, that he hopes the best for it, that a lot of those decisions aren't in his hands. Read that slowly. That is not a happy player. That is a player choosing his words carefully because the official announcement hasn't come yet. When it does, that careful tone has a deadline. And the Byron Nelson situation is just one part of it. The next demand goes straight to how the tour handles its best player during a round. The third change is about how pace of play rules are enforced. At the BMW Championship, Scheffler's group was put on the clock. He felt his group was keeping up with the pace. He was clearly angry. He made bogey right after. The tour brought in rangefinders to help with slow play. Morikawa said publicly it wouldn't fix the problem on its own, and nothing has really been solved. What makes it worse is that the enforcement doesn't feel equal. Scheffler gets timed in a big playoff event, and it costs him, while the same problem goes on for everyone else without the same consequences. His ask is simple: treat everyone the same. What he won't accept is paying the price inside a broken system the tour itself created. 3 done. But the next one shows how deep this problem really goes. The 4th change is about the schedule and what it costs players physically. Scheffler pulled out of the Houston Open this year with an injury, trying to protect his body before the Masters. McIlroy, Schauffele, Aberg, Fitzpatrick all missed signature events, the exact events built to bring the best players together. Rolapp's new plan cuts 8 or more events, which makes sense in direction. But right now, the change is leaving tournaments without answers, sponsors without clarity, and players without any real input into a calendar that directly affects their health and careers. Scheffler's ask here is basic. Before you rebuild everything around us, actually talk to us first. 4 demands, all fair, all real, which makes the 5th one the most important, because this one has actual consequences behind it. The 5th change, and the one that connects every other complaint on this list, is simple. Give players like Scheffler a real seat at the table before big decisions are made permanent. Every issue, the rules chaos, the Byron Nelson ban, the clock situation, the schedule, all comes back to the same problem. The tour keeps making final decisions that affect Scheffler's career, his ability to compete fairly, and things that matter to him personally without ever properly asking him. He's not asking to run the tour. He's asking to be treated like a partner by an organization that uses his name and his ranking to sell everything they have to sponsors and broadcasters. The tour won the LEV battle. Saudi money ends after 2026. On paper, the strongest they've been in years. But winning that battle forced a rushed rebuild under a new CEO still learning how golf works, created money commitments that need full buy-in from the biggest names, and left trust between players and management broken in ways that bigger prize money can't fix. So here is what this title promised you. Is Scheffler actually threatening to quit? Not in a press conference, not in an official statement, but when the world #1 keeps questioning tour decisions season after season, speaks carefully about a tournament he loves while saying the choices aren't his to make, and keeps showing up to events while making clear his patience has a limit, that is a player sending a clear message. The trust the tour has been relying on is not forever. And when the 2028 plan is officially announced and the Byron Nelson decision is made final, Scheffler will either finally get the input he has been asking for, or the tour will find out what happens when their most important player stops showing up the way they need him to. That moment hasn't come yet, but 5 demands are sitting on the table. The frustration is real, and the tour has only answered one of them. Does the tour fix this before Scheffler forces their hand, or do they keep pushing until something breaks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Not subscribed yet? Hit that button now. This story is nowhere near finished.